We're going to find out real quick. Be doing my best to work with World Anvil tonight. This is not sponsored by any means. It's just I've been hearing a lot of good things about World Anvil for a long time, and I've decided that I would like to give it a test. And I did at least set up my account earlier, and I have to say I was pleasantly surprised so far. So that is a good thing. My experience with something like this is Obsidian Portal a few years ago. Had a lot of fun messing around with that. I might even still have an account over there. In fact, just for the sake of it, let's just look and see if I do. Obsidian Portal. I don't know. Let's see. Already have an account. Yeah, I don't know. Not worried about it. Anyways, World Anvil, though, is something in recent years I've heard talked about a lot. I did start one entry that is not published yet. I've watched a couple of the videos in here, the little tutorials, and yeah. So anyways, I think this little thing says that I've started writing articles. I don't know what that little flag is. It looks like it takes me to, yes, what I have started. So I messed up. I started a location. I don't understand. This says organization. I don't know. Let's just check it out. If I go, not copy, view article. So this right here is what I started. Now, this is based on my campaign, The Forgotten Throne. I've got a small binder here that has some of my things in it, like my players' information, NPCs they've come across, magic items, so on and so forth. I have a notepad, which is what I usually write my monster stats down in. So, for example, from one of the early sessions, here's my stats and stuff. I take little notes on it as I go. And you can see I fill up a page pretty quick. I think that's like a session, maybe 2 right there. I had a little sketch of a stick bug. So yeah, I put down like the title of the session as the Kraken Flies, for example. Good stuff in here that basically I can always go back and take notes for. Now, I do have a bunch of dice, so I am ready with dice. That includes Rory's story cubes. That includes a trap die. That includes a location die. Challenge rating die. 2 of them. It has a monster type die. A yes or no die. Treasure die. Alignment dice. Race and class dice. And weather dice. It also has... Nope, that's it. That's all my dice. And then my regular dice. So I can roll for whatever I want at any given time to drop encounters into my prep. Now, this is going to be a heavy... I plan on using this tool heavily for my prep in the future. So one of the things that I feel like I got away from in the last year or two is the way I've done prep in the past. In the past, I used to do my prep in a folder. Now, before I get into that, this blue binder is my world info as it is right now. And this includes game notes, player characters, all sorts of things. And the way I used to do it is I used to have a folder that had the 3 tabs that you could put the protective sheets in with 3 holes in them. For example, this is a protective sheet cover and it has the 3 holes here. So I used to put a few of those in there. The very first one was my timeline, or my outline, I should say. Behind that, I would have like maps or any like really important notes I needed. For example, here's a map that we had. Here's a map of a campaign we had where it's really basic because it was just to give us an idea for travel and stuff. This was at one point what I used to use for my session prep, my little cheat sheets, which I think are still up on my website with my old logo on them. I need to update them with some changes. Here's a settlement sheet that I had that I would put notes in there for that I would fill out as either sessions would go or as I thought players were going to visit them. I'd have the settlement sheet, the prep notes for the individual session, little sketches of things that I had in mind. So that's called the Keystone Tavern. It's a suspended building between mountains, and that's like the inner map of how that worked. Down below it, there were caves, so I got all this stuff in here, right? That I just need to turn into something far more useful than a pile of paper. But they used to be in my individual folders. And based on the campaign I was running. I, this year, have tried to switch it over to more of a binder. I found trying to do it in a binder and write everything out by hand isn't the optimal way for me. As you could have saw from some of the other notes, I like to type some of my session prep up, more so than filling out those sheets sometimes. So that's kind of the way I used to do that. Now, World Anvil right here, it has a lot of cool stuff. So obviously this is just the first thing I started, right? Going back, and I got to figure out how this stuff is. So if I click Edit World, maybe. Yeah, so this is the world info. Introduction, that was just basically a placeholder for now. Go back here. I don't really know what I'm doing. So bear with me if you can. Let's say save changes. No, that didn't do anything. Articles. All articles. Actually, I need to go to the dashboard. I know there's like a dashboard option. Where is this dashboard? You can mess with like the timeline, as you can see. Maps, add secrets. I think I need to do the categories thing. I think that might be my big issue. Let's see, maybe if I go to worlds list. So you can create more worlds. The other thing I don't know, so I'm using the free version. Oh, here's the dashboard right here. Oop. So then you go, my worlds. Okay, then it brings you back here. Okay. Access world. So when you're in the main world screen, you have all these different buttons of things you can add. You can add articles, stat blocks of different things. I'm obviously doing it for 5th edition, even though I want my setting to be more system neutral. I just felt like since I'm running mostly 5th edition, it would be best to use this. And the reason is because when you click on these things, it gives you templates that you can then just fill in and make things a lot easier. You have this option for other, so that's cool. But anyway, so I've been messing with the articles, and I started with building. I think that's what it was. Maybe that wasn't what I did. No, I started country. Country was what I did for my place that I started. I've put in 2 of my campaigns over here. The Age of Destruction is a working title name for the campaign that's starting this Saturday that we will be streaming here on this channel. We're starting with Session 0, creating characters, and then possibly a little mini adventure right after that, I'm hoping. But there's so many options in here. Like I was looking at this, and I'm just not overwhelmed. I'm actually really excited about this, but there's just a lot of options. So I think when you click on the other and you click categories, you can create your own categories. Yeah, so it helps you organize and segment your content like chapters in a book. So that'll be very interesting. So all this stuff is just really cool. And it's inspired me to even dive a little deeper with certain things. If you hover over things, it'll tell you about stuff. So natural and magical diseases, illnesses, mutations, and transformations on condition. I don't know how I'm going to use that, but that's interesting. Conflict, that is really cool. I like that you can marry the different things, it sounds like. Special materials, again, I'm really excited to mess around with that. There's just a lot of really cool things in here. So, settlement. Anything from the tiniest of villages to the most bustling of space-hurled gigantic space stations. Species. Some of these I haven't even looked at yet. Bipedal dinosaur-like mount, sailing ships. That's kind of cool. Tradition, technology, spells, professions, geography, worlds and universes, galaxies, solar systems, planets, mountain ranges, valleys, great seas, swamps, and lakes. All geographic locations. So this to me, so I started the Valkar Kingdom under country, because that made the most sense to me. And in it, I started putting in things like important cities, and I listed them out, and then I put in important like locations, like the Neverending Swamps or the Lake of Heroes. Now, in that entry, I plan on linking those eventually to geography. So if I go into country, see, you can start a new thing in here. So I started it under title and vignette freeform prose. I did not go in and fill out all these other things yet. So these would be like notes that I want for my game. So say I type all that stuff up there and I have some hooks. Then in this section, I might say, okay, at this hook, it's a Medusa. At this hook, it might be this. Or, like you can say whatever you want. Or, oh, I'm planning on having this kind of treasure item here or that. That's kind of how I am planning on using this with my DM prep. So yeah, you can put alternative names, like all these things. It's just very, very in-depth. The organization structure defines the hierarchy of titles within it. It describes the major roles and their responsibilities in the organization. King of a kingdom, the treasurer of a merchant's guild, the acolyte of a religious order. That's cool. That section I'm pretty excited about. Public agenda. An organization's public agenda describes their goals and motivation behind their actions. This can be the promises of a politician or the mandate of a guild. So I like these little things it puts under here that it kind of explains. What happens if I click on it? It looks like it lights up. It doesn't look like anything happens. Okay. Okay. Interesting. So, yeah, history. So that's kind of cool. Founding date, dissolution date. When was this organization dissolved or closed? So yeah, you can do a lot of things, and as your campaigns go, it looks like you can even make changes in here to adjust that. So again, really cool stuff. I am not going to save this. Hopefully it doesn't do anything. Looks like you have 3 buttons in the bottom corner: mass image uploading, quick content creation, and quick links. Okay, so let's just go open all articles. So we're back here. I'm going to delete the location. I'm going to delete the one I just accidentally started because I don't need that. Boom. Okay. And then I am going to play around a little more with the Valkar Kingdom. So we're going to go in and hit the edit article and see what we can get done in here. So I'm going to move this binder. I'm going to try and add some things. I just don't know what yet. Let me move this light too. Ouch. Okay. Sorry, I was rushing. My daughter and I were painting out here for a gift for Valentine's Day for my wife. And as we were doing that, she got paint in her eye, and it kind of set me back a while. And we had to go inside and flush her eye out. She got a chunk of dry paint in her eye. Luckily, we got it out without any issues, but it was kind of a scary moment, especially since she goes into panic mode. All right, so this is how I typed it up for my Valkar Kingdom. This is for my Wednesday night game, The Forgotten Throne. And I used some basic notes of what I had in my actual game, and that's kind of how I came up with this. So in the game, the ancient gold dragon has died. So there is that. Let me, in a different browser, let me open this up. I'm going to steal some of the information from another document on my computer. You can't see this. I'm not going to share it just because there is some things I don't want my players to see, and if they stumble across this, which I don't mind them watching it, I don't want them to know. So we'll start with some stuff that they would know, which is fine. Okay. So I'm going to add some of the NPCs. So for example, King Aelrim, Lord of the Skies, is the ancient gold dragon. Gold dragon named King Aelrim. I'm sorry, Aelrim, Lord of the Skies, for centuries. Okay. So then down in here somewhere, I think I mentioned the Shadow Dragon. I did not. Heard of the Throne is unknown. It's protected, blah, blah, blah. So the mountains to the south, I'm just calling the Mountains of Fire for now. I need to come up with a better name for that. One of the things I should... oh, it's not on this computer. So I have a map on the other computer. Maybe it's in this document. If it is, I will share that with you guys. That is an old map. That's an old one. Yeah, I don't have a new map. Okay, so I don't have a new map available. I will have to get that later. But yeah, so anyways, I got to come up with a good name for the southern mountains. The idea, obviously, that I wrote in here is that the western mountains are like a lot of orcs, goblins, hobgoblins. The southern mountains have some stone giants. In the hills nearby, there's hill giants, there's kobolds. Where those mountains meet is called the Great Peaks. Kind of forms an X, and at the pinnacle of where they meet up is going to be the highest point, and I'm calling those the Great Peaks. The King Aelrim has had an ongoing feud with Regden, the Spawn of Death, a shadow dragon. His whole life. Regden seeks ultimate power and rule. Oh, seeks the ultimate power to rule over the Valkar kingdom, plunging it into darkness and ruin. There we go. So this location in my setting is actually, let me see. I believe I have a map, a very terrible map I did a long time ago of this whole thing. So here it is. I don't know if this is visible, but we will see. So this is the whole map. So in this, I have the Valkar Kingdom is supposed to be up in here, I think. Yes. Oh, sorry, it's in here. Valkar Kingdom's in here. I have not actually finished the mapping on this, but the idea, obviously, is that there's mountains to the west and mountains to the south, which I think I put them right here. But anyways, this map isn't exact, so I got to adjust it, but this is the map. I'm really excited to get this all fleshed out, though. I think it's going to be great, and we will see how it goes. All right, so I think that's a good write-up for now. You can see I've got cities, notable locations, notable NPCs. What else would I need to make that interesting? I don't know. I'm gonna read some of your messages. I'm sure your best will be amazing. Thanks, Victor. William says, hello. Hope your day has gone well. It was actually not that bad, other than the paint in the eye scare. Can all features be used right off the bat, or do you have to pay for a premium version for more features? So I believe all those features can be used. I have not hit any walls. The only wall I hit is I could only add 2 campaigns to my world. Now, I don't know if that's 2 campaigns total or just to the world. I haven't done a lot with the campaigns. I went in and messed with it, but I don't know exactly the limits of the paid or unpaid version yet. Cameron says there are a few features that you need to pay for, but for the majority of the features, you can use it free. I don't remember the paid for features, but they weren't cool enough to remember. Yeah, so far it looks like the depth I get with what's provided is more than enough. I'm sure there's limits on like how many pictures you can upload and things like that, but yeah, it seems really good to me. I don't know what this switch to is. Oh, so there you go. You can see my campaigns. I've got the Age of Destruction, which is Saturday's campaign, and then Forgotten Throne, which is my Wednesday campaign. So that's kind of cool. Notable NPCs. I'm going to click on this. We're going to go King Aelrim, Lord of the Skies. We're going to go Meregden, the Spawn of Death. I've got others that I've noted in my other document. Is there a god or goddess with a strong interest in a city or area? So in my world, right now I let my players use whatever deities they want, whether it's already in the game, whether it's like a Pathfinder deity or a Forgotten Realms deity. It doesn't matter to me. However, in my world, the premise is a long time ago, the gods used to walk the planet with everybody else. I know, original, right? But they made an agreement to stay on an island. There's an island that they cannot leave. And it is located in my world. Like, players could visit it, in theory, if they can find it. It's located far on the other side through the ocean. The ocean gets extremely dangerous before you get there. But there are magical items there with great power. It's just you really need to... You probably need to be a really high-ranked or a high-level character that's really good at, navigating on a boat and things like that. It's meant to be like a huge epic quest to get out there. Now, are they actually deities is another question in my world. Like, do they actually grant characters power, or is it inherently in anybody to cast magic? And the reason I have this in my world is because you can multi-class into things in most systems. And so whatever system you're playing, if you multi-class from a fighter to a sorcerer, it has to make sense. Or a warlock, which obviously warlocks are granted their powers, but a wizard has to learn them. So there's different things. Paladins get their powers from an oath rather than a religion. Clerics, so all these things need to be easily explainable. Most people in the world believe that they get a lot of powers from deities and things like that. So they believe in these deities. The fact that these deities once walked alongside their followers and things like that is also reason for them believing in it. But yes, so all right, so I'm just jotting down a few more important NPCs. So there's Jagger. I think in parentheses I should put who they are. So advisor to the mayor of Riverbend. Players have come across him. The mayor of Riverbend. What is his name again? Oh, man. Oh, okay, there it is. Mayor Viserion. He is a dragonborn. So in this portion of the world, this kingdom, it's ruled by the ancient gold dragon, or was until he died. He died very early in my campaign. And all the nobles are dragonborns, though. Now, there's also an heir to the throne who is a full-blooded dragon. Dragons of my world can polymorph or change, shape change or whatever. And it is believed that the heir doesn't even know he's a dragon. So that is an interesting tidbit. And the reason is because then the players can get involved with that and try to find him and things like that. So we got that. Let's see. There's Margot. Players have met her. She is the owner of the Crackle Pot Tavern, located in Riverbend. And maybe I'm putting too much information in this because these are going to be clickable links. But yeah. And maybe I'll just have to copy these over to these specific cities. Utility store owner in Riverbend. So they met Greg. Greg's a little crazy. There's two characters named Squeak. One is a goblin scout from Regden. And then there's Squeak. And that is Meek's pet mouse. We have the Silveris family. And that is one of my player characters' families in Riverbend. They are a noble family in Riverbend. And they are actually really important to this region. There's the Gorham family, which is a halfling character that's also in my Wednesday game. I believe they also have a noble family. Noble half-orc family in Riverbend. And the idea is that Renmer, that character, his father was a great soldier in the army back when it wasn't as safe as it is now. So we've got their families. Whiston. And for now, I'm going to say he's a priest of Gond. But eventually that's going to change. So it won't be Gond later. It'll be something else. But for now, since in my campaign, they are using the Forgotten Realms deities, that's what we're going to do. All right, so then we got Toldor, Captain Gritzwall, Mercenary Captain, dedicated, oops, hey when that happens, dedicated to law and order. Basically, he's done some work for Toldor. Jonathan Havoc. Question, question, question. Players have not figured that out yet. Brutus, the halfling mercenary. He's a mercenary working in Harvest Moon Meadows. I also had a dwarf named Brutus, I think, in my previous session, but I'm going to change his name to Bluto, the dwarf mercenary. We'll just say Anvil Logo Mercenary Company. Question mark. And yeah, he's got a bunch of other dwarves with him. Let's see. Got some different locations to put in here still. So, West Valcar Mountains. Let's see. Oh, there's the monks. Monks of the West. Valcar. Dang it. I fat finger this all the time. I'm lazy with my hands. Monks of the West Valcar Mountains. Notable locations. West Valcar Monastery was one of them. Let's see. I've got a lot of notes about stuff for Riverbend in particular, because that was the starting place of my players. I've got a couple things for Harvest Moon Meadows. think that's good. Oh, we forgot the merchant. So we've got Mayor, Jagger, and then we've got Pieter, the merchant. And that covers most of the NPCs they've met. Okay. So that's all from one campaign where we're 14 sessions in. Those are my notes basically converted. There's other things too. Maybe I can even say like notable creatures, beasts, and monsters. There we go. And then the first thing they uncovered were stick bugs. They're parasitic. They're kind of like intellect devourers a bit, but they can take over a creature and turn them basically into zombies. Swamp trolls. Actually, they're corrupted swamp trolls. What else have they come across? I don't think they've come across anything else. Oh, Druid Lich. That's something they fought. Undead Druids. Because I've had... Those are not Druid Liches. They're basically like resurrected Druids. So there's that. What about local customs for a city? Like toss a coin and wishing well and so on. Yeah, so I do have... It does look like there's some tools for things like that in here. I have stuff like that in here, or in my game, but I have not... I don't know if I would put that right here or not. Yeah, I don't know. Right now I'm thinking this is like, if I had a new group of players, and they were like, what would I know about this area I'm starting in? I would say, here you go, and I'd send them a link to the Volcar Kingdom. This is where we're going to play. And they would be like, oh, okay, and they would have all this information. All these are going to be clickable links, all these bullet points. And so they could read up on whatever they feel like. Now, I'm not forcing them to do it, but the general overview would be at least the basis. And if they, in-game, were curious, well, do I know anything about the Lake of Heroes? I'll roll for it. Otherwise, if they read it ahead of time, I would say, you know about it if you read it. That's kind of how I would treat it. Because I think that would be kind of cool. To kind of reward the players for getting into it and digging into these things. Yeah, let me see if I got some other things in my notes from actual sessions. I also have my typed up prep notes, which are kind of nice. But right now I'm just going to look for names for the most part in here. Notable magic items might be good. And then with these, most of them, if they're in here, it's because a player managed to get them. So there was the Blade of Witchcraft. There was a Maul. Oh, the Bonebreaker Maul, which Renmer currently holds. Dwarven Wine. Let's see. Temple of Gund. Oh, okay. I forgot I also have things like notable foods or menu items. So these would be like things that people would eat in the region. So there was the 10-point fruit. I don't know how I came up with this, but I did. And I don't remember where it was. But there was the 10-point fruit. There's Scotty's Pies now, which is in Harvest Moon Meadows. Green Emerald Stone. Okay, nothing else there. Nope. Short sword, dragon head. Okay, that was that. Nope, nope, nope. Okay. That's pretty much it, I guess, for my notes. Owns at that coast, lands papers at Eva's house. Jerry's Magical Wonders. I forgot to add him. So, Jerry's Magical Wonders. So he is a magic item salesman who shows up randomly in my campaign. That will save a lot of time in explaining things over and over. Can the players make a journal on World Anvil? You can collaborate with people, yes. You can even, as a player, you can create an account as a player, and then people can link to your player account. So that's kind of cool. I haven't dove into it much to really see how it works, but I did read that earlier today. So that was really exciting. Oh, here's their magic items. So then they also got... Yeah, I do think that would be extremely helpful. It'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, now I don't have to continuously look these things up. Red, white, and blue boomerang. Ornately pronged helmet. With third eye. Scroll case of Leviathan ivory. And a single giant egg of an unknown creature. So those are the magic items they've got. They also had some poison arrows. Arrows of magical poisoning. I don't think... Oh, and then Red Orc's Assassin Dagger. +2. That's just a +2 dagger. So that's, I think, all the magic items they've got in my game. I don't think I've given them anything else. They may have gotten another sword at one point. And I don't recall. Okay. All right. Now, under, let's see, notable locations, there is the Cave of Delicious Eggs. Again, working title, near Harvest Moon Meadows. And that's actually their next quest when we pick up next week. So yeah, there's that. So, all right, so that's some good notes, I think, for now. Let me preview this. Save changes. And preview. So I don't know if the preview will show up on your screen. I think it will. Yeah, that's some good stuff right there. That's a lot. A lot of stuff. Okay. Okay. Good. All right, come back. Maybe I'll add some notable hooks. I like this notable aspect. So I can go notable hooks and rumors. And then there's livestock getting sick and dying for unknown reasons. Not only is that happening, but we have crops and plants dying. Sick and dying for unknown reasons. Okay. sudden influx of dangers from the mountains, and animals migrating out of the Valkar kingdoms. Basically, my players have not come across a lot of natural animals in their habitat, other than squirrels. They've seen some squirrels early on, but since then have not seen a lot of animals in the forest or anything like that, which is very strange. Let's see. Orcs have moved into the... Oh, shoot. I hate when that happens. Into the never-ending swamps. Druid, Lich, and the Order of the Seven Dead Druids were located in the never-ending swamps. Yeah, that's kind of all my hooks, I think, so far. Oh, okay. Talking fish in a farmer pond is a suggestion for a rumor. I'm going to add that. I like that. Farmer pond. That's a good one. That's pretty random. I like it. Yeah, I think that's a good list for now. Get rid of some of these gaps between things. I noticed my uppercase and lowercase changed throughout some of these. But, oh well. I'll fix it all later. Right now, it's just getting ideas out of my head. This is still not live. This is still just a draft. All right, so let's close the previous preview and then just glance at it. It just popped to mind. Well, it could just be a crazy farmer. Or maybe the farmer has an ability to speak with animals and didn't know it. All right, so that's a lot of stuff that eventually be linked from here. But I like it. So that's good. And this is, I'm going to treat this mostly like my campaign page, campaign notes. Since I have a group playing in that area, that will be their campaign notes. Maybe I add something called notable adventuring parties and factions. And then the first one is my gaming group, the Kraken crew. They have not come across any other factions yet. So I'm going to leave that alone for now. Oh, shoot. Early on, we had a character, an NPC, that was a rival of Renmer. And I didn't put her in my notes, apparently. So, see if I have it in here somewhere else. Motivated, good deeds. Nope. Nope. Sorry, guys. There are no notes about the character. Interesting. Okay, so let me go back, check out some of my other session notes. Maybe it's in a specific, oops. A specific set of prep notes. Organized play, nope. Prep. Session 1, Forgotten Throne. Oh man, this is a throwback. Okay. Bugbear. Oh, I forgot about the bugbear. I'm glad I'm looking this up. Bandits have raided the last few caravan shipments of food from the port, bringing fish and other supplies. Oh, baby's crying. Good thing the wife's in there. Maybe she woke him up. Dangers in the outskirts has gotten worse. Rumors that King Aaron of the Skies is sick and has been for a little while now. Yeah, but he is dead now. Okay. Important NPCs. I don't have any notes on her. How do I not have any notes on her? That's weird. That's not right. I totally had notes on her. What was her name? I never wrote down the name. All right, I'll just have to look it up. Anyway, she had her own mercenary company, and I just can't remember her name. It's awful. Okay. Notable hooks and rumors. We had recruitment for guards, and the army is down on members. The dangers on the outskirts, the kingdom, and getting worse. So there's that. Yeah, see, I don't like that one. We'll just leave that alone. So yeah, that's not... Guard... I'm really bummed that I didn't write that down. I hate when that happens. That's the absolute worst. I don't always take the best notes, unfortunately. And that's part of why this organization thing is very important for me. What is this one? This was session 8. That might be a good one. Let me see if I got other ones that are older. Nope. 8 is the next one. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So session 8 is the next one. That was right there. So maybe I have notes in there. Let's see. But yeah, this is a really neat tool. I'm really liking how this has worked. King's death have passed from Port Town to the capital. The 2 mercenaries track down the bandits' hideout. Okay. Yep, spell scrolls. Okay. Healing potions. Oh, those are some weak notes. But that was a raid on a camp. So that was a pretty easy one. So then I need session 9 notes. Maybe session 9 had it? There's 10. Here's number 9. All right, let's save this. Let's go back into the main thing. So, there's some other things here too. So you can go into diplomacy. You can add diplomatic relations with other places, sections. So this, I don't know a lot about this. This text will appear on the top of the sidebar of your article. It's a great place to use to display a portrait or a tagline. Content panel top. This text will appear inside the sidebar panel at the top of the rest of the data. It is a great way to use to add additional formatted information to your article. It is also great for using the image tag for Wikipedia like sidebar display. Okay, so there's interesting stuff there. I don't know. author's notes. What's design? Article cover. Huh. You can upload images, excerpts, subheading. There's a lot of things in here that I'm just going to have to figure out. Navigation tags. Oh, this is good. Bulk or keep. Use commas. King Elrim. Regdon. Silveris. Oops. Gorham. Let's see. Riverbend. Harvest Moon. Meadows. I'll just leave that for now. Maybe Never-Ending Swamps. Okay. What is this category? Oh, okay. Yeah. In category position weight. Interesting. Okay. So there's all that. Access. Public. Read access to private articles to the members of that group. Gotcha. Preferences. This article is featured. Displayed under the featured articles list on the home page of your world. Multiple articles can be marked as featured, but only 3 at random will be displayed at any given time. Oh, that's interesting. Secrets. I don't know how secrets work, but that's cool. This article contains not safe for work and or 18 plus content. Yeah, nope. None of that. All right. So anyway, so that's the vignette pros. Notes for storytellers and GMs. Reminders for yourself for later. So that's kind of cool. That might even be where I take all these notable things and slap it in there. Motto, slogan, flag, crest, alternative names. Demonym is a word that identifies residents or natives of a particular place, which is derived from the name of that particular place. So maybe Vulcarians. I don't know. We'll see how that works. I don't know. Organization structure. It is a kingdom. Elected nobles are above nobles. Nobles, mayors are below the nobles, even though mayors are nobles. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. All right, so there's that. Public agenda describes their goals and motivation behind their actions. This can be the promises of a politician or the mandate of the guild. The kingdom provides gold and treasure to the capital in exchange for safety. Food, gold, and treasure. For protections. This arrangement is what led to the gold dragon ruling in the first place. King Elrim protected them, the lands from Meregdon. There we go. That's the promise. But now that he's dead, and Meregdon's moving in, now there's some trouble. Assets, silver and gold, buildings, troops, equipment, weapons, ships, and horses, castles, and other fortifications are the amasses or available wealth of an organization. History, write out that. Founding date, dissolution date. I got to figure out a timeline thing as well. Um, oh, okay. So you can create characters as well in here, and then it looks like you can assign them in here. So that's cool. Oh, create new article and link to it. That's interesting. The parent organization. Oh, so if I had like a special forces group for this kingdom, I would then under here change this to the Valkar kingdom. Okay, interesting. Geographic location based settlement HQ. Use this to define within which geographic location or organization exists in its entirety. Related ethnicities. So that's really cool. Okay, cool. I like it. So save. Preview. And I think that's pretty good so far. Eki Squid. So is this a narration building software? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what a narration building software is. It's a website that has a free option. You can go in and start creating whatever you want for it. So I just started this today. I've put in one of my kingdoms in my homebrew. Man, just give me some DMGs in an Excel spreadsheet. Hey, whatever works for you. For me, this will help me be much more organized. So for me, this is awesome. Let's see. See, so now I'm all messed up. Oh, I should have hit worlds. My worlds. So you go in, you create your world. Once you've created your world, this is like your home screen for the world, right? You can view your world, you can manage characters, and you can access your world. So access with the tool means you can modify it. In here, when you first come in, there's all sorts of stuff. You can set your current date, and you have all these entries that are templates. These templates allow you to add some really cool shit. That's what it comes down to. Magic items, maybe you have some homebrew spells, different settlements, different species, the religions in your world, material. So this is for people who homebrew their own stuff and like to get pretty in depth. One of the things I'm excited about is I'm going to be running 2 homebrew world campaigns. Starting this Saturday, that's when my second homebrew campaign starts. And then I have a third that's all done through just Descent into Avernus, Forgotten Realms. Much less thought put into that because I'm running a module. Whereas my organization has been a pad of paper and a binder. My homebrew world is where I tend to run most of my games, and this binder has all my homebrew stuff. It's not organized. It's hard for me to try and organize the papers or in a way that works best for me. So doing this is going to help me as a dungeon master, like plain and simple. If my players never see it, no problem. If I'm starting a new campaign like this Saturday, then I will share the link, and if they want to read up on stuff, great. If in a session they ask, hey, do I know about this? And it's, I'm going to say, well, roll for it. But if they read up on it ahead of time, I'm going to reward them for reading up on it. I'm not going to, it's not mandatory. I don't care if they read up on it. But if they do, then sure, your character knows. Because the stuff that's going to be in this is mostly general knowledge. I'm not going to dive so in depth that I would like to create a mobile app that's an all-encompassing loot generator. Yeah, you could easily do that, I think. I think there's probably already stuff out there, too, if you were to really look at it. Later, Victor, thanks for joining us. But yeah, I think this is going to be awesome. It's so in-depth, and it's not... I don't think it's overwhelming at all. I'm really, really excited about this. The thing that's weird is when I started entering a country... it just, I don't understand why it made it a subcategory of an organization. Interesting. So it looks like all of that I put into the one needs to be under organization. Weird. So organization is kingdoms, baronies, churches of gods. Organized religion. Okay, so I'm going to go back into that. I'm going to copy that other article. So this is what happens when you don't read everything. copy article link. No, not the link. Let me edit article. I'm going to copy everything in here. We're going to go copy. I'm going to then go back to this somehow. I don't know what Explorer is. Let's see what Explorer is. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Maybe articles? Organizations. Yeah, that's not really what I want either. So some of this stuff is a little bit weird for me, the navigation. I don't completely understand how the navigation is set up. My worlds. Because it's not really, I think, how I would do it, I guess. All right, so organization. Because I feel like this should be the home screen right here, personally. But I'm sure I'll get used to it. All right, so right here, paste. It messed my stuff up. I thought it would have kept everything the way I had it. Okay, so this, boom. Okay. All of this is notable hooks and rumors. Okay. Magic items. Boom. There we go. Now it's starting to look better. Okay. There we go. But yeah, I really like this. I think it's going to make my prep 1 quicker. I think it's going to make it easier. The other thing I'm going to do here in a second is I'm going to start prepping my other session for Saturday. And it's going to be a quick prep. I'm going to use some Rory story cubes because I don't know exactly what the players are going to be. So let's see. This is Volcar Kingdom. Call it main for now, since I have the other article that I need to delete. So save changes. Boom. Okay. Now let's go into here. I should have 2. One says Volcar Kingdom. One does not. So delete that. Okay. Cool. Scroll down. This one we are going to delete. I probably could have left that and just renamed it to Rivertown or Riverbend. But, oh well. Cameron, the problem I have when it comes to World Anvil is that it's too well set up for me. I know that if I sit down and fill in the sections, I won't get out of my chair for a week. I have to curb my enthusiasm. Yeah, I could see that. If you need help or suggestions, feel free to ask. I'm just going to idle for a bit. No problem. Thanks, Squid. Do you have the main sources of income for each nation? I do not. I haven't put that in yet. A lot of this, again, is just using notes from my games I've done, and I haven't had a lot of... Oh, no. Maybe it froze. I think it froze. How does World Anvil freeze? Oh, because of that. All right, let's close that. Let's see what happens now. Aha! That was great that it didn't do that. Okay. So there we go. So now I can go back into this, get rid of the part that says main. And so now I have my main top organization. Save changes. Perfect. Okay, so I don't know if this is going to be any different what it recommends. Type. Oh, okay. This is interesting. This is not in the other one. So this needs to be a kingdom. So if I put in kingdom, is it going to change a bunch of other stuff? What if I start typing in geopolitical kingdom? Okay. Perfect. Flag crest, alternative names. I'm going to call the people of the area Valkyrians. I don't know why. Going to leave the structure alone. Public agenda. Shoot. I deleted it with the other one. Outliers. Outlying cities. provide food, treasure, and gold in promise for protection from Regden and other notable threats on the outskirts of the lands. Okay, there. Assets, I'm going to leave that for now. Leave all of that. Leave it. Perfect. Okay, we're good for now. Save changes. So now I'm going to do my quick prep for my game session Saturday. So Saturday is yours a high magic world or medium or low? So it's high magic in the sense that magic is common, but it's not common in like small towns. It's common in large cities and bustling metropolises kind of thing. There's adventuring parties, but again, it's not like every town has one. In fact, in my world, most of the adventuring parties are just my player characters. There are occasionally rivals around heavily populated areas. So in this region, there's not a lot of adventurers. In fact, there's really only like 2 or 3 adventuring or mercenary companies, as well as then factions that come in from other regions through by ship and things like that. I have another part of my world where it's a little more abundant, so it just kind of depends on things like that. It's sunny. Where are you at? What? I don't even know what that means. Thanks for joining us, Larson. All right, so I'm going to roll some dice, and this is going to determine my session on Saturday. Again, we're going to create characters. I'm assuming that might take an hour because we're going to tie all the characters together. I'm going to roll some alignment dice, race and class dice, weather dice. Heck, we'll do treasure dice, trap dice, and monster dice. Just roll it all. So first, I'm going to roll all of these first. This is the alignment, character type, race and class, monster, weather, treasure, and trap dice. So I did that first, okay, and then monster trap. Okay, great. I got a lawful evil character of some sort, halfling paladin. So that'll be awesome. Got some kind of animal or vermin, a monster trap. It will be storming, and the treasure will be coin. Looks like the sun is out where you are. Oh, no, that's my garage in the background. The light is in my garage. No, I'm in Michigan. So, yeah. First rule of DMing, always prepare for when a PC decides to RP that succubus interaction. That is true. However, I don't use succubus, so I don't have to worry too much about that. Or I haven't used a succubus before. All right, so now, using Rory's story cubes, I will start rolling some dice. And I'll take a picture of this and post it in the Discord. Should be able to find the link in my description. I'm going to re-roll that one. Ooh, a whip now. Okay, cool. I think that will serve as food. I'll use that as food. Okay, sad face. That won't work. Okay. Fingerprint. Lightning bolt. Okay, that one looks cool. A lock. Don't like the idea of an airplane tree. We're going to reroll that again. Okay, maybe this one is no good. Yeah, I don't like the options on that die. So that die is gone. Oh, I didn't want to do that one again. Okay, got those. Music note, conversation, a tent, glasses, interesting, a helmet, a bassinet, waves, okay. This can make for a really interesting magnet. Okay, so I got to figure out how that's going to motivate me or inspire me. A well and a storm cloud. Okay, so now I got to organize these. So, session 1, there's bees. What can a bee go with? put it with that. So I'm trying to pair things up that I think makes sense. There's that. There's food, a lock, a tree. I don't like the sad face thing. I'm not going to use that one. We'll do conversation over food, or conversation through a locked door while eating food. How about that? Fingerprint. So that could serve as a footprint, possibly. Near a tree, maybe. Okay, and that could lead to an ambush from that. I've got this hag thing. Maybe that's before the food. I like to organize these dice how I want to tell the story. There's the magnet. Maybe that's about her charm. However, maybe they can find out she's abused characters or abused things. So, yeah, we'll do that. Let's switch the conversation with that. And maybe the whip is behind the closed door. Perfect. Okay, maybe there's glasses found near the footprint. And there's a storm. But there's a tent for cover. Okay. They find maybe a bassinet with music playing. I don't know. Oh, maybe it's in the water. So boom, I'll use the water. Local well. Inside of a town. Needs to... Okay, so I've got some stuff here. Boom. All right. So I will take that photo with my phone. I will then post that into my Discord. There's some lightning there. So let's see. Maybe the witch is lawful evil. No, let's make the halfling paladin like the first story arc. Maybe he's the bad guy of the first story arc. And he's got an animal familiar. There is a monster trap where his animal familiar comes out. So, man, okay, so there's a lot of stuff here. So maybe his animal familiar is some kind of a bug, since I have rolled up a bumblebee next to a spider web and a dead body. So, I don't know. Second rule of DMing, PCs are stupid and will definitely not follow the storyline. 100%. I agree with that. Random question. What do you think is the minimum amount of time you could put into prep as a DM? Looks like I might have to DM for the first time, but my free time is limited. So I've been using my story cubes the last couple sessions. It's been actually working out pretty well. For instance, I tend to ask my players at the end of a session where they think they're going next. And it does help me prep for where they're going. Weather is a pain, especially in 3.5. Say hello to negative modifiers when firing your bow in a storm. Yeah, I don't do that. I'm running 5e. I run... So the weather will affect like their perception checks. If someone is tracking them, I mean, you're not going to hear them. So it's really hard to... You're probably not going to see them if they're keeping their distance from you unless you're looking for them. But you're too distracted by things like the rain and the lightning and thunder and stuff to actually pay attention to who's following you in those situations. I'd say if you're not prepared, 6 to 8 hours. If you have prior preparation, 3 to 4. So I wing some of my sessions too. There have been sessions where at least I know enough about my world, which again, this World Anvil is going to help me with. I am someone who is able to wing a session if I'm familiar enough with the area. I know not everybody can do that. The other thing is, if depending on the type of group you have, you might even be able to throw some random encounters at them. And that might help you as well. And by random encounters, I don't mean roll it at the table and decide on the spot. I mean, just plan a couple encounters, you know. That's something that helps me a lot. So, again, just my recommendation. Okay, so that's... So, again, there's got to be a better way to get to this screen. I don't know... Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's got to be a better way to get to this screen. Is it if I click create? What happens if I click create? Is that what takes me to that screen? Yes. Okay. Okay. Instead of calling it home, it just says create. No problem. All right. So I'm going to put my prep into this. Before I do that, I want to take a picture of my dice as I organize them. So animal vermin, maybe the witch. Oh, a halfling witch. That's his mother. Boom. And they will learn about her over food. Maybe she used to abuse him. Maybe that's why he's evil. Maybe he's trying to kill her. I don't know. Maybe I won't go with this. I don't know if I'm digging the story. It doesn't work right for me. Maybe I should just plan a dungeon crawl and stick with the spider web, the bumblebee, the body, some kind of animal. All right. I'm just going to put these notes into something. So I'm just going to call, I don't know what there is here, documents or something. Is there something that's just good for notes? What is documents? Treaties, books, artwork, manuals, guides, statements, and so much more. What's building? Landmark, wonders, no. General article. What is general article? Generic articles can be used for additional content, role-playing game, homebrew rule sets, introductions to chapters, stories, prose. I'm just going to make it a generic article. Okay, so I'm just going to call this Session 1. No, I don't know. Session 0, Adventure. So, since we're creating characters, that's just all that's going to be. Okay. With that, I'll leave that alone. Notes for storytellers and GMs. So up here, I'll call this a recap. Notes. Down here is where I'm going to put this. So I've got a halfling witch. Let's call her halfling warlock. Magnetic charm. Very conversational. Okay. Willing to how? Whoops. Dang it. Willing to house and feed strangers. Okay. Locked room. Torture room. Glasses on the counter top. So there we go. Storming outside. So this is a separate note. And again, this is just me putting these thoughts down real quick. Yeah, and you can use a pre-built campaign for sure. Use it to build onto it. Prepare until you've prepped what you don't want to improvise. DMing is different for everyone. Randomization can help cut down time. Don't have to stick with what you roll either. Correct. I agree with that. As far as DMing necessities, random NPCs understand combat modifiers, have an encounter list available, and know the local area. A few extras would always help, like random events or something. Romances, shape change, silver dragons. So some of the things I like to do is I like to keep a list of names based on race and gender, because you will be surprised how many times a player says, what is the character's name? And you're like, So make lists of names. That's probably the first thing. It's probably the least important thing, but at the same time, it can really trip you up. So for me, that is one of the first things I recommend. The second thing is you know exactly where your campaign's starting. You know if they're in a town. You know if they're in a city, a castle. If they're starting in combat. If they're starting in combat, which is a way that I like to start campaigns a lot. Ooh, baby's crying again. If you start in combat, what'll happen is you'll see that you'll get into the flow of the game a lot quicker. And so after the combat's done 30, 45 minutes later, you're going to be ready to just do whatever needs to happen. Whereas starting the game with, okay, you guys are in town and I'm going to read this little bit of text to you, sometimes leads to a very awkward waiting to do stuff, you know? Was the mayor of town and owned a brothel in a wizard's tower. So yeah, anyways, so it's storming outside. Players see a tent. I'll say an abandoned tent. Footprints in the mud outside. The other thing you can kind of do, so with notes like this, right? So maybe rather than saying it's storming outside, right after that, I would be like, yeah, you guys still travel, throughout the day. And, it's just storming. Nothing notable seems to happen other than the storm. Maybe at times you seek cover when it gets extremely bad. But as it's starting to get dark and you guys decide to stop, you notice a tent in the distance. Most of the time, the players are going to inspect it, right? They come up to it. It's an abandoned tent. Because it's dark, they might even decide to sleep in the tent. Or they might wait till they'll go set up another camp nearby and then come inspect it again in the morning, or, things like that. So you can kind of tell based on how you give information to players what they might do. But players will always surprise you. You can't bank on them doing exactly what you think. So if you have a town, prep a couple locations, prep like 3 or 4 NPCs, have a list of names also in case they talk to other NPCs. But the 3 NPCs you prep, make sure you have like a trait about them, maybe a secret they're trying to keep, and at least have a name, maybe a profession, what they do to provide for society or whatever. So yeah, footprints in the mud outside. Let's see. Lots of trees surrounding the area. And these are based on the dice I rolled. So, monster lurking / stalking. So right now, I'm going to roll a d20. I'm going to assume whatever it is has like a +5 on stealth, and that's going to be the DC. So I rolled a 14. So that's a 19 total. 19 stealth check. So I would know right now that it would take a special character to notice they're being stalked. Passive perception would matter, things like that. And I did the roll now, so I don't have to do it later. I was in a campaign where Dean wouldn't let my horse wear barding because it didn't have armor proficiency. See, yeah, I don't stick to the rules hard like that. I'm a very loose DM with the rules. So for me, like if I have a player who says he's actively looking around, I would probably give him, assuming it wasn't storming, I might give him advantage on a search, assuming it's a clear day. It's storming. I rolled the dice. It says storming on my die right here. I've got the storm right here on this die. So it's pretty much a given that it's hard to see. And that's just the way it is. So I also got a lightning bolt on this die. So so there's a good chance it's just going to start off storming in this campaign. This, again, is just my initial entry to the campaign. This has nothing to do with what I'm thinking for the overall story. I'm also planning on taking different adventures from modules that have already been released for 5th edition. So there's things I like from Hoard of the Dragon Queen. There's things I like from Princes of the Apocalypse. I'd like to use some of the monsters like Tiamat and things like that in this campaign. So I plan on having this be a blend of a lot of stuff. And that's not something I normally would recommend for other people. Oh, don't worry if the party isn't a big fan of a prepped NPC. Parties always like the random improvised NPCs for some reason. Happens to everyone. I think they like to see DM squirm. I really think that's what it is. So anyway, so that monster's going to be lurking and stalking them. That monster will also have a horde. Because I rolled coin. for treasure. So it will have a treasure hoard nearby containing... Let's just roll... Let's see. What would be a good amount? I'll roll a d20, multiply it by 10. That's how much gold it has. 15 times 10 is 150 gold. Is that right? No. Yes. 150 gold. That's a lot of gold for me. I don't give a lot of gold away usually. All right. Nearby river has... I'm going to ignore the baby. Nearby river carries the sound of music. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Whether that comes into play, I don't know. I don't know how that will matter. But we're going to put that in my notes. Oh yeah, I've always played 3-5 and believe in general a PC is taking 10 with all things. It's important to keep tabs to their passive perception skills. And I turn nat 20s into a 30 value. Yeah, so 3.5, the only thing I hate is I hate situational modifiers. I always have hated them. Just trying to remember all the different little situational things has always bothered me. I did try to run Pathfinder for a bit leading up to when 5e came out. Once 5e came out, I haven't really looked back. In fact, I only ran not even a handful of sessions of Pathfinder before 5th came out. And I had invested hundreds and hundreds of dollars on books. Right now, just looking at my shelf, I've got just remaining because I've sold a couple for like 10, 20 bucks tops. I've got a ton of the little thin books that they used to do monthly. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of their $50 to $60 books-ish. Like NPC Codex and Ultimate Equipment, Core Rulebook, Bestiaries, things like that. And then I have their beginner box. So I got a lot over there, unfortunately. For running only a couple sessions, I did not get my money out of it. I also have 3.5, but I never played that one. I played 2nd edition D&D quite a bit with my wife and her brother and stuff. And that was fun. So noob can't destroy epic beasts with a lucky roll. Right. Give me your books, LOL. I'll sell them. I'd happily sell my Pathfinder books. Problem is nobody's made me an offer that makes me want to get rid of them. Part of me likes keeping some of the books too because I have kids. I have 3 kids. Oldest is 8. She's going to be 9 in June. Yes. And I would love to try and play some of these games later with them as they're learning. So let's see. We're going to have a wishing well. Just outside of a city. I'll just say a city. I'm not going to say a large city. I've got a helmet here, so maybe I'll give away a magic helmet. At night, I'll just make this part up. In the streets, there is a drunk, armored man with a magical helmet who attempts to attack the weakest character. Let's roll for his attack now. 9 plus 5 is a 14. So, 14 to hit. Boom. And so then I can just run into it, explain it, boom. I have no idea what the character's armor class is yet. But yeah, magical helmet will grant... +1 to armor class. How about that? +1 to AC. Yeah, that's a good one. I remember when my buddies got 4th books, ended up scrapping them for the picks because nobody wanted them. So I actually wouldn't mind having 4th edition books. I've never played it. I've looked to see if I could buy like all of them for super cheap, and I can't find them for super cheap. But I would love to own all of 4th edition books. I guess there's there's a lot of good things you can still glean from some of them, like tips on like encounters, especially in the Dungeon Master's guides. The bestiaries are still useful. You just gotta, adapt it to your new system. But you can get good ideas from things like that. Equipment, things like that. I like to homebrew a lot of stuff. So, yeah, some of the feats I think are interesting in Pathfinder. I've already incorporated some stuff in the past in games, um, but I have not. Oh, you know what? Let's have a dungeon with a spider web and a body in it. A flying spider. Ooh, with a stinger. It'll do 1d6 damage, piercing damage, and 1d6 poison. Actually, and give player poison condition on a DC 12 con save. Yes, there we go. All right, I like that. So then, all right, this is coming. I think I see how this is shaping up now. I kind of like this. There is a trap. That holds the lawful evil halfling paladins. What would be a good creature as his animal? Yeah, monster abilities for Pathfinder right now. I'm using AD&D for dungeon building. Perfect. I think I agree. Every book can be very useful. I have a lot of my Palladium books still, and there's things in there that I think are really interesting. Sometimes, though, like, I know I probably won't go back and look at my second edition books for very much. I know I probably won't go in and look at my Pathfinder books mostly. I probably won't. I've tried a couple times. I like the Game Mastery Guide. Game Mastery Guide for Pathfinder is probably my favorite resource, actually. In fact, most of my DM's binder is copies of that, like NPC generation and things like that. It's really good stuff. So anyway, so there we go. Monster trap that holds the lawful evil halfling paladin. Paladin's companion. But I don't know. What should his companion be? Help me out, guys. It's going to be inside of a dungeon. So, okay, this is what I'm thinking. The players can get knowledge from the halfling witch in a... Maybe she's located in a small town. They can eat with her. She'll feed them. They can only get so much information, but maybe she's trying to get her child saved, right? They will then go possibly after it on their voyage over. They will see an abandoned tent during a storm. They'll see footprints. Footprints, if they're smart, could lead... Basically, I'll make a DC for that as well. They could lead to this thing that's stalking them, if they can make that tie to that. There's then a river with music, which is kind of just nothing. It's just a random thing to pull them away from the adventure. But if they get completely to the city without following the river, there's a wishing well. The wishing well, if they donate to it, will probably give them something as a boon later. There will be a guy who will attack them at night in the streets. Maybe he's a guard for the dungeon. Actually, maybe I can spin it that way. In fact, let's do that. Let's make him a guard. Rather than him, let's just make him a guard. So we'll just say a guard with a magical helmet who attempts to attack the weakest character. And by weakest, it'll be the smallest. So weakest / smallest. So it has nothing to do with their stats necessarily, just somebody who thinks isn't physically strong. Okay. How about the wishing well is just outside of the dungeon instead? Maybe they're not going to a city. Maybe they're going to a known fort. So there we go. Dungeon with a spider web and body in it. Flying spider with a stinger, 1d6. So let's go. Maybe there's a hidden door to avoid the spider encounter. And since I use miniatures, I'll be able to draw this out in a way that doesn't necessarily give things up. Maybe it's a large square building, and I'll do the different levels. A displacer beast or a blink dog. Oh, blink dog would be good. Let's do a blink dog. I think those are in the monster manual too. If not, I can easily come up with one. I'm pretty sure they're in here. They might not. They might be in one of the adventures, though. Fine, he's got a beholder. I'm just kidding. Okay, it's not in here. Is it maybe under goblins or something? I'll look in the back. I feel like it's in here, though. It might even be in the back with, like, some of the other... Yeah, 318, it is. It's with some of the other monsters. All right, blink dog. So blink dogs are kind of cool. And I'll put their stats in here as well. So armor class, weak, which is good. HP. Oh, I lost it. Oh, whoops, armor class is 13. My bad. My bad. I love how the I'm gonna up the hit points a little bit though. Not by much. We'll go 25. I want it to be tough. All right, so I'm gonna set this right here. Strength. I'll do +1. Dex. +3. Con. Maybe it gets its bonus from its con, so I upped the con by a point. Intelligence, 0. Wisdom, +1. And charisma, 0. Okay. Passive perception is 13. Stealth +5. Does bite +3, and it's 1d6 +1 damage. So that's pretty good. It can teleport. Recharge 4 through 6, so on a d6 that you roll every turn. If you roll a 4, 5, or 6, he will teleport. 40 feet. And that's it. Blink dog, gotcha. Okay, so that's cool. I like that. Now, what if his owner is not really a paladin? What if he thinks he's a paladin? Like, what if he's crazy from the abuse he took from his witch mother? And so he thinks he's a paladin, but he's really not. And what if I give him... I could make him a cult fanatic. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to do that. I don't want to give him priest stat block. I can give him a knight stat block. Let's give him a knight stat block. So that was the monster trap. Maybe he's got like a wand of lightning bolts. Because I have a lightning die next to the monster trap. So he's a lawful evil paladin. Lawful evil halfling knight. Wand of lightning bolt. 2 charges. That might be too powerful. How much damage does a lightning bolt do? Because at first level, that would probably wipe everybody out. They'd be pissed if I did that to them at first level. I'd be pissed. I'd be like, really? You hit me with like 4d6 lightning damage? Of course I'm dead. Maybe it's like static shock instead. I don't know. Lightning arrow is 3rd level. Yeah, it's a 3rd level spell. I can't do that. Yeah, it's 8d6 lightning damage. That can't happen. So we just won't worry about that at all. That won't happen. I just dropped a pencil. All right, so he's just going to be a knight. And halfling knight with a scroll of lightning bolt that he can't use. 3rd level spell. And I don't think I'm going to have a wizard, so that might not be helpful to anybody. So, armor class. Ooh, I can't make it plate mail, though. Let's go with AC 16. No, we'll go 18. No, it's got to be 16. 16. He's got chainmail. Halfling chainmail, so only small characters can wear it. Hit points 52. All right. Strength plus 3. He's really strong. Dex plus 0. Odd for a halfling, but that's okay. Con plus 2. And I'm going to actually lower his hit points because I don't want him to be that tough. So we'll go 42. Int is 0. Wisdom 0. Charisma plus 2. Okay. Actually, let's go for the blink dog. I'm going to keep it in a similar format as well. Okay. And then I want to know what his passive perception is. Is 10. Okay. Then he's got brave. Not that that'll matter. Advantage on frightening saving throws. All right. They've got some tables. Excuse me. They've got some tables that roll based on value in Pathfinder. The book that has the best ones is Ultimate Equipment, but there are also some in the Game Master's Guide. Yes, I like the Ultimate Equipment Guide. I also really enjoy the Game Mastery Guide. Love it. I've got some of that stuff in my Adventure Creation binder that I'm not using right now. Give him powers that were given from a chaotic deity. His spells don't always work as intended. Could do that. I could. And maybe because of his attributes, he's just weak with them. Like his chance of hitting with them are low. So yeah, maybe I can do that. Both books also have a bunch of system agnostic information besides their tables. Yep, I agree. I'd create a generator where you could choose default loot and randomize other loot options. Yeah, such as choose value, $5,000, 5,000 gold. Sword, shield, coins, all. which automatically proportions the coins into a balance of copper, silver, gold, platinum. Yeah, I'm actually in the midst of reworking my campaign binder or my adventure creation binder with things like that. I started messing with tables last summer. I posted. Did I post them? I think I was working with some people in the RPG Brigade, and we were doing some stuff. Multi-attack, so 2 melee attacks. So if he casts a spell, he can't do this. So that would be good, actually. Great sword. +5. I'm gonna make it a +4. Because I'm gonna say I'm actually gonna adjust his strength, make it a little less. +2. So that's why it's +4. And it's 2d6 +2. 2d6 +2, which is enough to probably kill anybody in the party. Slashing damage. Okay. Heavy crossbow that he does not use. And because he's small, I'm going to make it a light crossbow, actually. It's a +2 to hit. And it deals, I think, 1d8. Does that sound right? I don't know. I don't remember. Let's look up that light crossbow real quick. Maybe someone will take it in my party. Where's their loot? That's one of the things I like to do too, based on like the stuff they can get. Rather than give them gold, I like it when they sell stuff. Now, obviously they're limited in what they can carry back and things like that. I don't worry so much about encumbrance, more as just I worry about what makes sense that they can carry. Like, you can't take everything back out of a dungeon, right? Unless you have like a wagon. But I don't worry too much about the weight per se. All right, so it's a 1d8 +2 because of his dex. Oh no, he's got no dex. So it's just 1d8 damage. Okay. All right, and so yeah, I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, so we want to give him like a paladin spell or something. Let's do that. Let's look at the paladin spell chart. So paladins, let's see. You could have some smites. Shield of Faith would be a good one. Shield of Faith. I'll give him one other spell. I don't know how Shield of Faith works, but I'll look it up in a minute. I don't really want to give him a smite, honestly. Maybe Cure Wounds or Compelled Duel. Cure Wounds. And then he'll heal himself when he hits certain points. So that'll be good. Okay. So let's look up. Cure Wounds, I think, is 2d4 +2. I should know that because I got my Cure Wounds potion over there. One of my viewers made me a box with the different potions you can use. Where did you get those funky dice? The dice I rolled? My dice are Rory's Story Cubes. And then I got the other ones, like with the alignments and the classes and the treasure and stuff. I got those ones at 1d8 plus spellcasting modifier. Okay, so 1d8 plus whatever his charisma is, right? So that's +2. At Gen Con, I can't remember if it was Chessex. I think it was at the Chessex booth. But yeah. Alright, so there's that one. So then I need Shield of Faith. Elder. Lord of the Rings language book to write in Elven as reference. Huh. Skills. My JavaScript skills are iffy, and I don't have Excel at the moment. Yeah, it happens. All right, so Shield of Faith is the other one. And then the other thing I need to look up is if he's got 52 hit points, he's probably a pretty good level if he was a real paladin. So he probably gets some slots. But even if he heals, he can't heal for the full amount from around. Shield of Faith, where are you? Shield. There's Shield. Oh, there's Shield of Faith. Okay. Shield of Faith. Okay, so it's a concentration. Cool. That'll be good. And a shimmering shield. Okay, so I want to indent. Is this an indent? No. Is there an indent option? I don't see one. What's this? Insert line break. Insert paragraph. I'll do this. Ooh, I don't want to do that. Never mind that. I didn't want to do that. Oh, I did it twice. Okay, yeah, I didn't want to do that. All right, so I'll put C for concentration. Boom. Can I hit tab? No. Nothing happens when you do that either. What if I click that? Oh, okay. Interesting. Not what I want, though. I mean, it was, but not really. All right, I'll just do a bullet list for it. Can I do a bullet list for it? No? Okay. Concentration. Space. Shimmering shield appears. So I think for a first session, this will be good. It'll get the players going to start the campaign. Get the group together, give them a, get them moving in some kind of direction together. From there, they will then be able to actually jump into the next session, which I'm either going to I might take the Essentials kit and just run that adventure right out of the book and just change the names and stuff. Not sure yet. Shield appears around character, granting a +2 to armor class. That's huge. So that right there would then put him at 18 AC, which would make him incredibly hard at first level to hit. So he will be a very tough character to fight. However, if they, fight that lurker thing, they're going to level 2 before them. And then if they camp at all, they might be able to get to level 3 with another random encounter. So yeah. But anyways, so I like that. Let's see. Session 0 adventure. I'm going to put in notes here for what the players are going to have to do. Character creation. In fact, let's do this. Let's put numbers. So we have character creation. Figure out how party is connected and knows each other using tables from Ultimate Campaign. From Pathfinder, Ultimate Campaign. Book. 3. The players are traveling to a small village. When they stumble across a old halfling woman on the road. she asks for help getting back to her home. Okay. So there, we'll leave that there. Ooh, interesting. If I remove that, what happens? Oh, that's really weird. That is really, really weird. Okay, interesting. Okay. When lacking in quest department, a meteor in the sky is good incentive. That's true. When interconnecting characters' backstory is great to work with. True, true. Well, we're making characters Saturday night, and they're going to be here probably around 8 o'clock. We'll probably play till 11 or 11:30, so I'm assuming by 9 or 9:30, we will be done with their characters and tying everyone together. So we will have an hour, hour and a half to play. That's where this stuff comes into play. All my notes that I put below. So I think this will work out okay. But the players are traveling to a small village when they stumble across an old halfling woman. She asks for help getting back to her home. When back, she invites them inside for some food she had been preparing earlier in the day. She warns them of... So what should that monster that was lurking be? It shouldn't be anything crazy. That's... I gotta think of that. I didn't even decide what that was gonna be. I just said it was lurking and following. Let's see. I don't know. A knoll? That'd be bad. That would be so bad. Yeah, I don't know. An owl bear, maybe? Owl bear might mess him up, though. 249. I mean, I don't care. It might, though. But that would be their first leveling up. And then they would level again. They could level after the guard encounter. Oh, not an owl bear. That's not what I meant. Although that would actually be pretty good. Oh, no, it wouldn't. Nope, that would wipe them out real quick. Bugbear is what I meant. But that's probably just as tough. Oh, no, it's tough, though. All right. Bugbear nearby. So again, I actually need to change this, though. This should not be right here. So let's cut. This should be down below. Okay, so halfling warlock. Magnetic charm, very conversational. Da, 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 da. Okay, so let's make this bigger so I can see better. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Boom. So this needs to be... Players are traveling to a small village when they stumble across an old halfling woman. Back to her home. Okay. Boom. When back, she invites them inside for some food she had been preparing earlier in the day. So maybe we just don't even say when back. We just say she invites them inside for some food she had been preparing earlier in the day. They can get this information. She will be a halfling warlock. So all of these things right here are bullet points. Boom. Okay. So that's the first thing that can happen. Next thing. And that'll be early in the morning. So when they ask, we'll say this is like, well, see, because not if she got back there. An hour to an hour and a half. That's enough time to buy a beer at the local tavern. That is true. How about a cloaker? Cloaker would have been a good one. Suppose you want something with a deeper storyline use. Kobold Scout. Yeah, I could have done a kobold. I was thinking that, but then kobolds are kind of useless if they don't have their group with them. And I don't think they would be out in the open. So that's why I kind of went with the bugbear, who's very stealthy. And so it makes sense that they would be lurking to possibly get them, right? And maybe the previous owner of the tent was gotten by a bugbear. So, yeah, they will get all that from her. There's a locked room. So let's move the glasses on the countertop further up so it stands out a bit more. We'll move it right there. There. These need to go even up higher. So there we go. I guess that didn't move it up very high. Okay. So we're good there. I think that's good enough notes for that. I don't want them to stay in her house. So maybe it's mid-afternoon. So maybe she wasn't preparing food. She invites them inside for a late lunch. And so with that, though, like the glasses might be magical. Right? So maybe there's an incentive to how they played it. How about a religious acolyte who heard about her magical abilities and is spying on her? Could be a witch hunter or some similar class. Well, see, this is happening in one place. And I'm thinking like this is basically where the players start. I then want them to get the quest from the witch to go to point B. Middle of that, I want them to then find out they are being maybe they haven't been stalked all day. It's just they're at this other tent that they kind of come across. And that's where they see that it's an abandoned tent. And then that's where they see that they're possibly being stalked by a bugbear. If they don't see it, I'm going to let the bugbear attack them. And in that case, so then, depending on what the players do, maybe they stay the night, maybe they don't. I don't know. Next day, storming outside. Towards the end of the day, the players see an abandoned tent. But I'm not going to say an abandoned tent. They will see a tent. A large tent that looks, well, we'll just say a large tent. We'll just leave it at that. Footprints in the mud outside. DC 18 to reveal they are a bugbear. So maybe the bugbear killed the original person there, took their food, and yeah. The footprints lead to a treasure hoard of 150 gold, like we mentioned below. There we go. Near next day. That might be too many days. I won't even say towards the end of the day. While traveling a few miles up the road. How about that? Players see a large tent. Footprints in the mud outside. DC 18 to reveal they are from a bugbear. DC 15 to reveal the general direction it went in. Advantage on perception against stealth. Okay. That's if they get the DC 15. Footprints lead to a treasure hoard of 150 gold. Monster lurking, stalking, 19 stealth check. All right, cool. That's kind of what I'm thinking there. Day 2, the old halfling was impregnated by one of the PCs. No, that would not happen in my game. I wouldn't let it happen. That's one of those fade to black and never happens. All right. So this would be the next day. So this would be day... It's basically a full day away is where her son went. So really, this is only a couple miles from her place. They travel through the whole day. Gets dark. Early in this day. Early next day. So we'll call this day 1. Boom. Day 2. Early day 3. Wishing Well, just outside of the fortification tower. What's the weather going to be like? I love this weather die. High winds. Okay. Wishing Well, just outside of the fortification tower. Guard with a magical helmet who attempts to attack the weakest, smallest character. 14 to hit. Upon entry into the tower. He stands just inside of the door. Okay. So he will actually be... I'm going to copy the knight stat block right here. We'll just go... Whoop, just like that. And I will put it right here. We'll go enter. Enter. Actually, I should make that there. So this is going to be a small dungeon. It's basically, you got like a foyer, and then you have what looks like a small door to the right. Now, the players can then find like a hidden door to the left that would then take them into another chamber. But the door to the right will flow right into the spiderweb area. The hidden door straight ahead will basically lead to a room, like an open room, which then will lead to the main room. That's kind of how I'm envisioning it. And it's basically one big giant square tower. If I have time Saturday, I might even try to craft it quick. So, all right, let's adjust his stats. So his strength is going to be a +4. He is AC 14. He is... Let's see. What race should he be? He's not going to be a halfling. He's not wearing any armor. Maybe he's a barbarian. Blank barbarian. Thanks for joining, Squid. I appreciate it. And I typoed that. But thanks for joining. You were very helpful. I appreciate it. What should his race be? What did I just do? That's down below, isn't it? No. He's going to be a barbarian of some sort. Human barbarian, maybe? Let's go human barbarian. There we go. His hit points are going to be 12 for now. Strength plus 4, Dex plus 2, Con plus 2. Charisma minus 2. Wisdom 0. Okay, there we go. Does not have anything like that. Does not have multi-attack. He will have rage for half damage. His hit points are, let's see, we'll say 20. And he has a great sword plus 6 to hit, 2d6 plus 4. That's pretty brutal, actually. He can mess some people up. No light crossbow at all. And he does have a magical helmet that grants a +1 to armor class, so his armor class will actually be 15. And that's him. A passive perception of 10. I think we're good there. So that's my barbarian guy. Okay, Blink Dog needs to change. There we go. Yeah, formatting I need to fix. So fix the format. This dungeon is going to be tough. All right. Yep. Good. That'll be tough. Very tough. But I think it'll work. Anyone who tosses a coin in the wishing well outside will get a plus dex as a parry once. Basically like an advantage. Will be granted a parry of plus, we'll say +4. One time. Okay, that'll be how I do it. But once they do that, and then I decide who's got it, it won't be there anymore. Okay. Dungeon Spiderweb, Monster Trap. Dex, save, DC 15. So in other words, if they step on a pressure plate, they release the Blink Dog. If they don't step on the pressure plate, the Blink Dog stays in its cage. That's how that's going to be. As for... This is less world building, more game prep, right? There was a part where I said there's a secret door. Yes. So, foyer. I don't think that's how you spell foyer. Maybe it is. Foyer, hidden door, DC. I'm going to say it's a DC 10. It's easy to find. DC 10, investigation. Check. Okay. avoids spider encounter. Which again, the spider encounter is very rough too. There's some real chances for things here. So I'm gonna say right off the bat that my bugbear encounter will level the party up. Just because they need to level up, I think. Once they go through that, once they go through that, there's going to be the human barbarian. That's going to be tough. He'll probably go toe to toe with my wife's barbarian character. So we'll see how that goes. But there's one of him. There's going to be 4 of the party members. So he shouldn't stand a chance. But there's then the chance of the spider webs. The spider webs are going to be lethal because of the piercing damage plus the poisoned condition. As for that spider, though, let's make it pretty weak. We're just going to call it a stinger spider. I'm making it up. I'm fine with that. AC 12, hit points 8. Every attribute 0 except Dex plus 4. Okay. Stealth plus 6. It'll have the sting is 1d. It's plus 4, 1d6 plus 4. Right? Yeah, plus 4. And then it's a DC 12 con save or poison condition. Okay. The body. Okay, so we need to give some healing potions. So let's do a healing potion on him. So not only does he have the magical helmet, he has a potion of healing. 2d4 plus 2. He has one of them. The body in the web is going to have some too. So if they go this way, the body has a potion of healing, which is 2d4 plus 2. And so they'll have a chance for 2 potions of healing. That's good. That'll help them not need a rest. So then at level 2, they should be able to handle these things. Now, the halfling needs to have some kind of magical items. Let's give him Cursed Magic Ring of Evil. Players' alignment switches to... Actually, let's call it Chaos. To chaotic. Okay, so there's that. But let's give it a good thing. Positive effect plus 1 to AC. Ring of protection. Question mark? So yeah, they will think it's a ring of protection. However, whoever puts it on will switch to a chaotic alignment. And player tries to create chaos when directed. by DM. Yes, there we go. Perfect. Fire wrecks spiderwebs fast, and that fact has led to some funny situations in game. It's flammable enough to make a low damage fireball with enough webbing. Yes, that is 100% true. And I fully expect them to burn it down. I expect them to try and burn the web if they go that way. I'm giving them an out for that. I'm kind of excited about this magic ring, to be honest, because typically what I do when players... I hate when the element of surprise is removed from a game. For example, in my Wednesday game, one of the players who's in this game has a passive perception of 21. Can't sneak up on him. You can't really surprise him in any way, shape, or form. He sees everything coming from a mile away. He's also got a familiar, so all these things kind of ruined that. My brother-in-law is also in this game. He's a lawyer, very smart guy. He plays very cautiously, typically. He's going to be playing the cleric, so I'm assuming he's going to have the detect magic spell. And what I'm going to do is, of these properties, odds are going to be the chaotic aspect, and evens are going to be the ring of protection. I'll roll a d6, and I just rolled even. So he would know, yeah, it's +1 to armor class. If I rolled a 3, he would know it's cursed. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to give him everything. That's how I'm going to work it out. If it had more properties than that, I would then... If there were 3 things, I would say 1 and 2 on a d6 is this, 3 and 4 is this, 5 and 6 is that. So that's how I would do it. So identify odds will, whoops. Odds on a d6 reveals curse, and evens reveal positive effect. There we go. So that's how I'll handle that. Let's see. Figure out how party is connected up here. Blah, blah, blah. Jump into an adventure where the players are traveling to the local town before X happens. There we go. Boom. And so then they could just bypass the encounter, this whole thing altogether, and just go to the town and visit the tavern. So that's my prep for the session, and I think it's pretty good. Adventure for, what is the name of that campaign? Right now I'm calling it like the Destruction, the Age of Destruction or something. There, we'll call it that. We'll save. Boom. Now, I just want to preview it because I don't know how this shows up for players. Okay, what does red mean? I don't know if that's how I'd want that to show up, to be honest. But, yeah. That's concerning. I don't understand. Would I put that in as secrets? Notes for storytellers and GMs. Reminders for yourself for later. Oh, okay. So only if I give access to it can they see it. Okay, cool. And they can't, so that'll be fine. But that's interesting. Burn this MFing place down. Yeah, and I think I would actually have that weaken the next room, maybe. I like to do environmental things. So on Saturday, I will be coming back into this and revisiting my notes and how I've written them and putting some things in there. But yeah, my notes and everything, this all turned out really good, I think. The story cubes for me make prep really quick. I mean, this took me about an hour, I think. So again, that's not too bad at all. So we'll see how it works out. I'm excited to see how it plays out, and I think that it'll be a fun session. I really like World Anvil. I am looking forward to learning more about it and using it again. I'm probably going to jump on here a little bit tomorrow. Not on a stream for tomorrow, but I will probably hop on here and try to add some of my notes. Saturday, maybe during the day, I will do some more live streaming with World Anvil. There's a chance my wife and I might be painting miniatures live tomorrow night on stream. So if any of this sounds like anything you're interested in, be sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. And we'll see you next time. So thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us, Cameron, Squid, Victor. Really appreciate it. Have a good night, guys.